Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. I've got Tin Man to the left of me.
I'm back.
K-Max to the right.
I'm back.
Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. We got the return of the Tin Man.
Yes. Yes.
So before I do anything with the episode, prior to recording here, we three fathers, husbands,
Kings.
Of Orient.
I just want to. I am very thankful that we can carve out a little time to be able to record something like this. I know how busy you guys are. I know how busy I can get, and I'm just very thankful that we can find time to do this.
We're thankful to be breathing. I didn't say breeding.
Breeding.
I'd be more thankful.
Extra thankful.
Wouldn't. Never mind. I'm gonna stop talking.
Wouldn't turn it
What's
down.
that?
Yeah. Be nice to be asked sometimes. What a start to this episode.
So I did miss last week. I haven't got a chance to catch up on Spotify
Or
or
Apple Podcasts.
that's right, Apple Podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Or whatever the Amazon one is.
But the scuttlebutt at the barbershop is that there's more, and we are growing exponentially.
Really?
Yes, among the commoners.
Hey, how about
The
that?
the people getting haircuts is going really well.
Oh, I can't
Awesome.
wait to hear about that
Awesome.
one.
Yeah. I was able to share the good word.
Oh. All right, podcast is over. I got to talk to K-Max. All right, episode 17 of Season 2 is brought to you by 2012's adaptation of Les Misérables, starring Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe among an all-star cast. This is the movie discussion portion of our chapter on justice. And though this movie could be used and interpreted for a number of other themes and contexts, we will be using our lens of justice. Sounds like a superhero weapon.
Lens of justice.
Yeah.
Lens of justice.
That's what I'm wearing right now. And we'll be using that context for how we discuss this movie. And then before we roll into the topics for the day, I'm going to get a very, very condensed version of Tin Man's view on justice. So I'm going to ask you a couple of words, or a couple questions.
All right, let's see.
So, Tin Man, what does justice mean to you?
Oh man, you're doing this? Okay.
Yeah.
I
No
gotta
pressure. You just have
think.
to condense your entire career into one question.
What does justice mean to me? Justice means righting wrongs, balancing imbalances, fixing what may not be able to be fixed as best as possible. Justice. Correct portion for what was given or what was taken. Correcting what portion of what was given or what was taken. Let's see. What else?
Now, did you already listen to our podcast?
No, I didn't. Oh, why?
It's like
blind.
this guy is a cop or something.
There's a reason justice is
good cop.
blind. A female. That's odd. It's a female, but it's a female. A blind female with balances in her hands.
Oh, we lost him.
He's already outkicked our coverage. First few sentences were like, man, we nailed it. And then like, okay, he's outkicked the coverage.
Now, do you think we as a society focus on a punitive version of justice or one that supports a sense of fairness?
Oh, okay. All right. So if you want to get into like the justice system, why it works or what its purpose is it for restorative? So that there's terms using like restorative justice, deterrence, there's another R word. There's like 3 R words in my last
The kind of
social
justice?
Yeah.
Did you say restorative already?
I said restorative justice.
Is it reciprocity or reciprocal justice?
That might be. There's a word. There's one I'm specifically thinking of. I can't think of the word. It's
Oh,
cut it in post.
You couldn't hold out.
You know what? I'm gonna put the phone down.
Restorative, corrective, and retributive. Yeah,
Retributive.
retributive. Yeah, there it is.
Retributive justice. Restorative justice. What's it to? You're trying to change someone's behavior, you're fixing the criminal.
Corrective.
What is
corrective
it?
justice, right?
Reformative justice.
Reformative justice.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Doggone you, Vaz.
Circle gets the square.
Circle gets the square.
So
That's the sound they use.
Was
too.
this introduced last week?
It was.
Okay,
It was.
okay. Did it have a specific purpose?
It did.
Okay.
And you'll see. Now, do you think?
Other than my sole replacement, they're just like
and Vaz is regretting letting me sit so close to it right now. I'm like Clarabelle.
Well, you got the most mobile mic, so you can hold it right up to there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to your question. I'm
So,
saying a lot of words without answering anything.
What else is new?
That's what this is for.
That's what you're here for. Do you think that we as a society focus on a punitive version of justice or one that supports a sense of fairness?
Nah, probably more. Probably feels more punitive. Like someone, no, this is what they deserve.
Don't break the law.
Yeah. Yep. You can't do the crime, don't do the time, or whatever the phrase. Yeah. But that's kind of it. You get a slap on. You get a timeout. You get a societal timeout. Mm-hmm. You know.
Now, do you think that's reflective in the movies that we like and watch?
Portions of it, yeah, but not its end goal. Like it's not like if we see something that feels like a fair, balanced punishment for something, or that's well deserved. That's the comeuppance that needed to happen. It was more to it than just, oh, he did this, and oh, you got 5 years in prison for that. It's usually something more fuller. Like not only did this person get hurt, but they got hurt and then reaffirmed or restored as their hope in life again on top of this person seeing their wrongs and then paying for a punishment. There's usually more to it that makes us feel whole or satisfied.
There it is.
I
like that.
It's
Whole
never
or satisfied.
Yeah, it's never just the, oh, you did this, you get this. But that's the movies we like, right? That's in a movie world.
I love the fact that he said whole, and that's what I kept saying, like being made whole, like justice is.
Yeah.
Actually, that was funny. Vaz mentioned that, like the idea of not just he's gonna get his just deserve the bad guy, but does the person who's done right. Are they made whole? Are they restored? Are they
right?
Now,
and why doesn't that make for good film when you see the good guy get his good just desserts?
Yeah,
instead of the bad. I like to watch the bad guy get his.
Yeah, and it's always like the bad guy is just so bad there's no saving him, right? He's got to be such an awful guy that he needs to die or get whatever in order to make this better. And I like that in this movie we picked, it's kind of circular.
That's right.
Someone's doing their job and is impinging on this person's freedom, which opens up this door, and it's kind of cyclical and intertwined.
Vaz was messing with my head last week. Just with all of that, like we were in a couch. I was ended up laying on the couch, and he was smoking a pipe as he was
finishing.
So how does this make you feel?
I was calling him Sigmund by the end of the podcast.
Sigmund fraud.
Yeah,
Sigmund Vaz.
he moved back a little bit. He told the kids, "Stay out of the room."
Tin Man, I'm going to read you a quote, and then you tell me what you think of it, and if the quote is an accurate observation of justice.
Okay.
You may recognize it. The man who pulls the lever that breaks your neck will be a dispassionate man, and that dispassion is the very essence of justice. For justice, delivered without dispassion, is always in danger of not being justice.
Do I agree with it? Or do I recognize the quote?
I should hope you recognize it.
Yeah, that's was it good, the bad?
So what do you think of it in terms of is it an accurate observation
Yeah,
of justice?
I think so. That person's role, the executioner's role, should be blind to any other influence.
Okay.
I will say this though. I feel like my job lends itself to sticking to the law, like the letter of the law. I don't have to add nuance to this situation if it's not needed. If punishment's needed, here's black and white, simple terms. The law isn't written so that a lawyer needs to interpret it for you. At least in New York State, it's not horrible. You can read it. Simple, like the simple crime of theft, petty larceny, 155.25. It just states takes property without consent. It's like real simple. It's one steals property. There's a little extra stuff added to it, you know, when it's stealing. If you're in a store, you got to pass points of purchase and blah, blah, blah. But it's simple. It's written so that a normal person can understand it. A normal person should be able to interpret it. A normal person getting told, this is what you're charged with, and they would go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It should be broken down like that. And I can say to this person, clearly, you did this crime, and it shouldn't be up for debate. The lawyers can fight that out in court, and that's not my job. And I feel like that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay. All right. Now, I ask these things because we kind of discussed these in the previous episode, and it's not the last time that we'll discuss it. So, Les Misérables may just be our oldest story on the pod. The original novel, well...
Keep going.
The original novel was written in 1862 by Victor Hugo. However...
Sorry, I can't help myself. I love it.
The version from 2012, I believe, is our most recent adaptation. So, here you go, Tin Man. Here are the topics for the day. Oh, a dud.
Better.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm hit and miss with this thing. my trigger figure is a little...
Also with the bell. That's ridiculous.
Number 1. Reactions and favorite scenes or songs. Theme and why. Russell Crowe singing. And the importance of medium.
That's funny.
Siskel, eat your heart out.
How do you think the movie portrays justice? How does it portray fairness? And a scene perception.
Oh.
An unknown scene perception?
Yep.
Oh, man, that's... All right, let's go. Let's
right.
play the feud.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get nuts.
You want to
You
get
gotta
nuts?
get nuts. Come on. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
All right.
All right. Reactions and favorite scenes or songs. What do you guys have? Oh, yeah. Reactions first, though.
Okay. You've seen it before, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I saw it for the first time 2 hours ago.
Beauty.
So,
I love that.
He's Jimmy come lately.
I love it, though.
Jimmy, come right on time. Okay.
As long as...
COME.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my.
A wizard arrives precisely when he means to.
Well, Tin Man, while it's fresh in your mind, tell us your reactions.
Okay, so the first act, all the drama, the little bit of intertwining, seeing all the characters over time, Fantine in the business that Le Maire, Jean Valjean,
Love it.
owns, and then her fall into despair, kind of intertwining with Russell Crowe's character, all of them kind of commingling their stories together. I thought it was really cool, really dramatic, really was following along well. Little stretch in the middle where everyone has to sing a song about their emotional state for I don't know, 5 minutes longer than necessary, I thought. It's just me personally, nothing against it.
Nothing wrong
I'm
with
not
that
a
either.
musical guy.
Yeah.
Musicals guy. We'll say that. I'm somewhat musical.
You
but
are
I'm not-
musical.
I'm somewhat musical, but musicals are not really my thing. But
Maybe
Did-
it
did-
worked out that he didn't show up last week because I don't know if this would have been our movie set.
Yeah, right. But I think he would have done it though, because he likes to do weird stuff
I'll,
like
I'll
that.
do. Yeah, I'll try anything
would've
twice.
That was his version of experimental.
He would have jumped in. He would have jumped in.
Because I haven't seen it before. Yeah, throw a new one in there. But did they have to sing every line? What is that over there? Is this going to be me? No, it isn't you. Every line out of each
But
song.
of course
and I'm like,
it's you.
Yeah.
It is not me. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
It is,
But it
not
is you.
me. Like
I told you it was.
there were so many times I thought they were going to hit a certain note and they didn't, and it bugged me. It was not me.
Like a
it was
sneeze
not
that you didn't
you.
get out.
It was where I was expecting it, and they'd be like, "It's not you." I'm like, "Not
Yes.
there." That's where you went. You went there with that note.
It's so funny too because it's all planned out too musically, like a minor or a flat, you know what I mean, or a sharp note
Yeah.
on purpose to give you that dis-ease. And it's like, yeah, they did that on purpose
Yeah,
to us.
like they wanted you to wait for that,
They're just sickening.
and I was like, "Just make that line rhyme." I could have wrote a line that would have rhymed to that next sentence. Why did you not rhyme the next sentence?
It's like, geez, Victor Hugo, would you
Yeah,
sharpen
yeah.
up?
Did he write it in French? They just did an exact translation. You can play with this. This is not.
I love the fact that we've had a couple listeners who have also worked with me. So they've been out of the game a little bit. And they've been just as stretched. I won't say just stretched just as thin as we've been. But they have been this time of the year. Kind of get them to a spot. And also like some of the themes of like native representation. And they felt like, you know, for a little while they were like, okay, we're just going to listen. We're going to kind of enjoy and just kind of participate at arm's length.
Mm-hmm.
And when I spilled the beans a little bit that we're going to be talking about Les Mis, these are teachers. And they were like, let's guess who's back in, baby. And they're like, wait for the paragraphs. We're sending paragraphs. And I said,
right.
that's what we want to hear. Yes. I said, well, we aim to please.
And then it had moments that wrapped me back up. Good music. The songs, I was going to say my favorite's got to be Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter's what is it, Master of the House.
That's what I'm talking. Yes.
That one was funny and goofy, and the words rhymed, and the music was good. And I
They're
really
inebriated in the top sense.
Yes, yeah.
My band of soaks.
That's how I should have introduced you guys.
Band of soaks. I read it because I had the caption on, and I read it before I heard it. I'm like, soaks? What is that? What does that mean? It's like
Next episode, maybe I'll
a
do that.
louse or what's the word?
I think they are soaked in
wino
alcohol.
Yeah. Yep.
Overall, did you enjoy yourself watching it?
I enjoyed majority of it. There's like sections where I was like, if I could just cut some, like if I could cut sections of it, little sections of it out. Not that it wasn't bad, but it would just draw out long, and I was like, okay, they could have done it in 2 minutes instead of 10 minutes. But I did enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know musicals are a tough one for you. So
Yeah. But the plot, the story was interesting enough to follow through, and I really like Jean Valjean's character, like his arc of being a slave, being a criminal, and then kind of doubling down on his criminal life for a minute, and then getting the grace that someone gave to him from it being a priest, being like, oh, we caught this man stealing these things. Like, oh no, he forgot the good stuff, and like kind of breaking him a little on the grace, and then he gives that same grace to Russell Crowe's character, who then in turn kills himself over it.
all right, let's calm down there. Let's save a little bit of it for later.
I love that, though.
I just saw it. It's like, hey, I'm trying. Like, it's still all here because I just watched it for the first time. But I thought it was, yes. I said everything I need to say.
Save all that
stays
because
there.
we
I gotta
will
be honest.
we
Love
will
it.
be in that. K-Max.
Well, honestly, I love the fact that I'm a goofy musical guy, right? I love the musicals, and I love this one. This is I think, this is right up there. It's what, people say it's my favorite. It's one of them, but it's definitely my favorite film adaptation of a musical. because I love, and again, we'll talk about it a little bit more later. I love Russell Crowe in this role for a lot of reasons. And
For the singing?
A little bit.
You'll see.
and
We'll
honestly,
discuss.
and Hugh Jackman, who reminds me a little bit of you. Get over yourself.
How about me? Who do I remind you of?
And Bob's is like, well, thank you. I think he's great in it, and I love Anne Hathaway. I mean, who doesn't?
That was amazing.
She falls into deprivation and promiscuity, and I just feel horrible for her.
That was quite the journey. Like that felt like an emotional toil on her, watching her go through it too.
But I've seen her in other movies, right, and stuff. But this is where I like this girl's got chops on chops on chops.
I remember like so many people were saying like, if I could get this amount of acting in any movie, that's all I'll need. To make a big project.
Gosh, it was like holy cats, and I think it's cool how you had these people who were, some of them were enthusiasts of the musical, and some of them weren't. And when they heard the vision of like the director's vision, they were all like, "I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this. I want to do this." And I have these ideas. And this just tells you like how a filmmaker can really, really, if you play to the enthusiasm of your actors, sometimes it can be great, sometimes it can be awful, because it might take away from your vision. But this one seemed to come together really good when he let that happen. My first take on it, it was excitement. It was like, I can't wait to watch this. And then when Tin wasn't here last week, I was like, and I get to pick musical, and it might be this, but I don't know because you didn't present what it was.
Right.
And then once you presented it, I'm like, boom.
Yeah, Tin and I took a gamble last week. I was hoping musical would be picked because Les Misérables was going to be a movie that I presented in part of my justice thing. So luck would have it that
I couldn't
make it.
Veto the.
Came out.
And honestly, and when folks hear it, they will know that I consider it. And said, you know what? I've got an idea. And I'm glad we did. Just the historical flavor of it is yummy. And the singing, the music, the arrangements, and I just like how when film is something that's accessible to me, I'm a bottom shelf. Give me the instant feed me now. And if it's at the cinema or a movie, I can watch it. Same thing with like Hamilton. The first time I didn't get to experience it the first time through, right? But I got to consume it. I've since seen it about 4 or 5 times, like live at places. But first time was seeing it, I think Disney Plus.
Oh wow! Okay.
Getting to watch it as a movie kind of, and it was like, that was nice. You could rewind it and pause it and say, I didn't hear that. I want to hear it again, type of thing. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. First take. Love it.
I first saw this in theaters when it came out, and it was still at a time when theaters would get packed.
Yeah.
So I believe it was me, my wife, and I think Tiffy. We referenced Tiffy a few times on here because she's a fun hog, as we're saying.
gosh.
She just may be a character in the show eventually. Maybe sometime.
Maybe,
I would hope
hopefully.
so.
Fourth mic.
If there's any justice.
female's,
there's any justice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of
We're
justice.
not denying a female's voice in this thing.
We
but
are not.
We'd be accepting of a female in this group.
But when we walked in the theater, and I looked, and the theater is packed, and we can't even sit together. So I had to sit by next to strangers. My wife had to sit next to strangers. Tiffy had to sit next to strangers because there was no seats together left in the place. And it was my first time, because I knew Les Misérables existed, but I was like, French Revolution, meh. And I kind of knew that it would everything seemed sing-songy, like musicals. It's not. There's no.
What was your first
parts.
connection with the story, though?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I had never actually known what was in the movie. I knew, like I said, French Revolution. I knew Jean Valjean was a character. I didn't know his arc or anything. But that was my first experience with the story.
That's cool. That's real cool.
So since then, I've seen this movie, I'll bet you 30 times at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So one of the hidden things is I enjoy musicals as well. So this movie, Grease, Nightmare Before Christmas, I've seen all the musicals, Beauty and the Beast. I mean, countless times.
Repo?
The genetic opera.
Yeah.
So I was very excited that we could actually work in musicals this early, because in future seasons I have plans for music to be a chapter, but it is not this day.
But today is not that day.
So and then the Blu-ray I got when it was released on physical media came with a CD soundtrack of it. So that was always on like my iPods. Yes, iPods. And then it was always like, part of my, I put it like on my mixes to sing along as I go to work and wherever. So it's kind of always been in the background ever since I first experienced it. So, but diving into it this way was still interesting because I did not really dissect too much of it during those viewings. It was more, revisiting the emotional feelings that you get watching certain scenes and the singing and all that. We're going to move right into theme and why. Who wants to be brave?
I don't want to be brave. I don't want to be brave.
If you want me to be brave, I'll be brave.
I want to act in cowardice.
Okay, I'll throw one out there. Hope can survive in the worst situations possible.
Okay.
I got no reason behind it.
I like that, though.
Because I feel like the miserables are pretty miserable in certain situations, but there's always one character, one situation, or one instance that brings this person back from the depths. Whether it be the priest or Jean Valjean saving the what's his name? Eddie Redmayne's character. Yeah. Or even Sacha Baron Cohen's character trying to throw Jean Valjean, or trying to get money from him, crashing the party at the end, and him finding out that, he actually saved his life, and then they get to see him before he goes. But I don't know.
Okay.
So, hope surviving in some of the most dire or awful situations, I guess.
All right. That's more than we usually get from the Tin Man for
I
theme.
like it.
So I
It
like
was
it.
fresh. It was energetic.
No YouTube. No.
No Gould.
I needed a break. I needed a week break to.
K-Max, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll throw something simple out there. I just thought that sometimes legal and moral justice, no. I was going to do an equation, like a math equation, does not equal, sometimes lawfulness and morality are not equal.
I like where you're at.
Are not equal. There's a dichotomy there, and it's almost like a yin yang a little bit. Sometimes there's
a little bit.
one's one side of it and the other one's the other side of it, and they don't always play nicely together, but they are in fact in cahoots with each other. And this musical, in fact, the novel, Victor Hugo's novel, maybe a little bit more closely and blatantly talks about that.
Oh, really?
That okay. Breakdown there. I think, and again, the movie shows it wonderfully, and the musicals show it wonderfully. But that push and pull between Russell Crowe's character and Hugh Jackman's character, and you see that throughout. You see it being the undoing ultimately. It's too much grace.
Yeah.
It's funny too. I think from a faith standpoint, there was flirting around with doing that for my theme, something about grace and how it's overwhelming, and it really is. But it's it should be in a positive way. It should inspire you to positive things. It shouldn't overwhelm you to say, I can't handle the idea that I've been such a scumbag. And this grace extended to me is overwhelming to me.
Is allowed to override law. when I don't know. I like there's a weighted math equation. I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah. The mapping of it.
How Valjean understood it going through it from one side, but from the other side, Javert couldn't understand it,
right.
and that's what his undoing was. Yeah, I like
And
that.
it does such a good way of doing it, and that's where I think the singing does help. Like that you can, because the singing in musicals to me is like you're exposing the heart. It's like a soliloquy,
Your
like
inner monologue.
it's your inner monologue. You're singing it almost like I'm in the thing, and I'm not even singing to you. I'm singing to the audience, like a very Shakespearean. Like I'm telling, instead of a soliloquy where you're standing off to the side looking at the audience, breaking that, what is that, fourth wall or whatever, you're singing it instead.
Well, I think that's a mechanic of musical, though, because when you're on the stage, they can't zoom up on your face to see if you're contemplating
that's
something.
right, that's right.
You have to actually, like in a Shakespearean play, like, I am slain, because they can't see if you're dead or if you're sleeping or knocked out or what.
Right.
That's, good stuff.
I had two ideas. One was pretty spot on with what you were doing, and I'll kind of give that that quote later on because it has to do with one of our next talking points. But the one I decided on was too good to not not phrase it this way. So I have compassion is the very essence of justice.
Ooh.
For justice, delivered without compassion, is always in danger of not being just.
Come on. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
You sly
Yeah.
son of a gun. Say it one more time, will you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was too busy going, ooh. Like Mufasa. Say it again. Ooh.
What?
Mufasa.
What did you say? Mufasa.
Yeah. Ooh.
Compassion is the very essence of justice. For justice delivered without compassion is always in danger of not being just. So to me, throughout the movie, Javert is the dispassion of justice. He's the unwavering rigidity of law. And on the other side, you have Valjean, that to me represents the product of compassion and fairness. You brought up the clergy showing him grace,
Right.
and saying, I understand you wouldn't be doing this if you weren't in a tough spot. So let me help you get to a better spot, and you can start over. And I forget how he words it, but like, live for God, spread this, this same grace wherever you go, type of idea.
Yep.
And I wanted to point out that, to me, you see lawful punishment, and you see compassion and fairness. And as K-Max was saying, like the yin and yang, right? But to me, it was very lopsided which one the movie sided with. In the beginning, you had Valjean, he's singing back and forth with Javert in the port or whatever that thing is where the ships come in.
Right.
And I'm kind of jumping into the lyric, but he said, Javert says, unless you learn the meaning of the law, and Valjean says, or the meaning of those 19 years a slave of the law. So, and this was something, too, that rewatching this movie and trying to keep up with the quotes and actually know that each lyric has muchness to it, that you have to really interpret what the context is, what they're saying, what it means. So with that one, to me, it's Valjean not getting anything out of this punishment, not learning anything, not getting a sense of remorseness. He was left hollow and kind of wondering, why did I serve 19 years for stealing a loaf of bread for my starving sister and child? Tell me how that's fair, type of thing. And from Javert's perspective, it's easy to understand. You kind of mentioned it before. This is the law right here. It says if you, and even verbatim, the stealing. You stole this. It's right there. This is what you did, so you must serve this time. Okay, you tried to escape from prison. It's right here. You must serve that time. So it's very, from Valjean or Javert's perspective, you did that. You're a criminal. This is what you get.
I think across all societies, 19 years for stealing bread's a little severe.
That is pretty
Yeah, right.
Like,
for
just
real.
so that we're clear,
5
I'm not
years.
on
And that's
Because he
where like
stole
5 years is still
for what he did. The rest because he tried to run.
yeah, it's like historical context though is huge here for this particular time, like mid 1800s France. You know what I mean? So it's like almost everywhere else.
Where the phrases bourgeoisie and
Yes.
proletariat are
I mean,
like
this-
from. Like this
That's
is
absolutely true. The third estate, you know, a member of the third estate caught doing something like that wasn't just punished; it was a statement. You can't do this. It was a statement because it's almost like the first two estates crushing the third,
Yeah,
just saying
has to keep them
and you
right
have
there.
it's
Yeah.
exactly and like the song that they had where they're kind of I don't know if it's the one that Vaz is quoting, but there's a song that when he's in the 19 years doing time, they're talking about it. Their dialogue in that song kind of explains. Here's why they're doing it. Here's why we'll never escape this.
Yeah.
Not
Is
just
that
prison,
the
but like
look
this
down,
state. Yeah, look down.
down.
There it is. There it is.
I'll be referencing that later
Cool.
or something.
Cool.
But okay, so that opening scene there also sets up. He's finally released from his sentence, right? What's the first thing we see him doing? He goes to the clergy and steals to try and make a living, however he can. Everyone's shunned him from work.
Yep.
Where's your papers? You don't have your papers?
I think kids and little swarms of kids throw rocks at him and stuff. Like, yeah. He's got to shoo him away with a stick. Yeah.
And now we have a scene next, right, when the clergyman does what he does. We already referenced what he does. And so Valjean has one of those moments. There's probably one for you where you're like, why can't you just sing it right? But he says, instead he offers me my freedom. I feel my shame inside me like a knife. He told me that I have a soul. How does he know? What spirit comes to move my life? Is there another way to go? And you see him kind of get very emotional and leaves the building there, and he's going to like the cliff or whatever. And he says, I am reaching, but I fall, and the night is closing in. As I stare into the void, to the whirlpool of my sin, I'll escape now from that world, from the world of Jean Valjean. Jean Valjean is nothing now. Another story must begin. So this is a fresh new start, right? That comes after someone had shown him compassion and a little bit of grace and understanding. So these two ideas are put side by side right from the start. You got one where it's a punishment-based justice. This is the law. You broke the law. Here's what you get. And he comes out. The first thing he does is break the law, right? And then you have the other side where he's treated with compassion and understanding and grace and allowed to try and restart his life. And you can see how much more receptive he is to that. And how, I mean, he became, I don't know, is he like actually the mayor, or is that just like a term for like a person in charge?
I thought he
He's
was
actually
like a town mayor. Like I thought he was like a small town mayor.
He's,
Like
he's definitely the mayor.
the mayor.
But I don't think if it's mayor of like the whole.
It's not like the country or Paris. It's like a mayor of a like a city or
It's
town
almost,
or something.
to me,
like
it feels
that.
like almost like on like I don't know if this is true, but it feels like Small Heath. Like if you're looking at like Birmingham, like in England, like there's like a small parts
yes.
of it.
Yeah.
That's what
Like
it feels like to me.
he's got his own district or something.
Almost like a
that.
magistrate type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I make of it.
Right. But he was able
why
to...
Javert was like at his service.
That's right.
So he had gotten
Right.
promoted.
It was
to
his
this,
sheriff.
and that was his. Yes.
And it almost reminded me a little bit of Hateful Eight, when the guy's like, "I'm going to be the sheriff here, and you're going to be my executioner. So you're going to do." You know, that's what it felt a little bit like to me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
the irony that I was thinking when I was, hey, this guy's going to be his undoing is going to be his sheriff,
Yeah.
or potential undoing.
Right.
But you could see how Valjean took that opportunity. And like he said, Jean Valjean is nothing now. Another story must begin. So he realizes the error of his ways, reforms himself, starts fresh with his opportunity, and makes something of himself, becomes the mayor. and employs a whole factory of people. So he's able to actually become a contributing member of society. So that's why partly why I had to go with that theme, that compassion is where the justice is at, because you can see the results within the first 25 minutes of the movie. You can see the results from each of these ways of executing justice. And then I mean you kind of see this throughout, and it, from our lens on justice, it may take a little back seat at sometimes because they have the Marius and Cosette storyline kind of woven in there, the Revolution storyline woven in there, which they both have relations to this idea of justice. But from, like I said, from very early on to the end of the film, you have these two characters kind of pitted against each other throughout the whole thing, right? Javert cannot comprehend this alternative. And what I thought was interesting is that, like I said, he's a symbol for this rigid law that's unwavering, right? He tends to have an issue with being able to recognize a criminal from an innocent man, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, or I guess towards the beginning, after Valjean is the mayor, he made a, quote, false report, right? Because he thought, and he was right, by the way, but, it was Valjean, but, he accused him, and then later on in the story, he walks right past Valjean in the streets. So I thought it was a pretty cool little accent to his character, that with the symbol that he is, can't tell who the innocent are, right? And
J'accuse.
and even going undercover with the revolutionists,
Revolutionaries.
revolutionaries. What are they called, KMX?
Revolutionaires.
I was gonna ask if it was a specific group, like the ABC, Friends of the ABC, or
right. But either way, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. But he can't see that those are the people that are in need of good justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're suffering injustice from the
right, and he's focused
on cake.
From the society.
You're disobeying the law,
right?
Mm-hmm. And that to me, that's like the crux of the whole. It's like what makes it go.
Yeah, like the letter kills.
Mm-hmm.
The law versus grace dynamic between them two.
And I'll only give one example because I think we'll talk about a little bit later too. But you mentioned examples of Javert or Valjean giving Javert some grace and compassion, and so to me it's compassion when you're saying that he accused an innocent man of being a fugitive. Valjean responds with that he was only doing his job and what he thought was right, and there's no need to further pursue any punishment for falsely accusing someone, right?
Yeah.
Because Javert was ready to give up his career to say, "Yep, this is I did something wrong. I need to be punished. Turn me in," type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned that it relates throughout the story to the relationship with Marius and Cosette, because that same compassion is carried through when he saves Marius, and it's carried through when he saves Cosette from the masters of the house.
Yeah.
You can only imagine what they would have used her for.
Oh, good gravy.
Can you imagine, though?
I have, and I will. And you can count on that. Anne Hathaway.
And I was going to say, and the same grace that he gave to Fantine, in following up on taking care of her daughter. And even in the Red and Black song, you kind of get the idea of, black is the harsh, rigid oppression that they're under, and red is the passionate strive for moral justice, right? So red, the blood of angry men; black, the dark of ages past; red, a world about to dawn; black, the night that ends at last. Red, I feel my soul on fire; black, my world if she's not there. Red, the color of desire; black, the color of despair. So I think that's even referencing what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Is,
Yeah.
the lawful oppression versus morally justice, moral justice, I should say. Anything to add to our thoughts on theme and?
I think between the two of you guys nailed it pretty good. Mine was very basic, but I think that you guys fleshed it out pretty good. I'm curious what other people think too, like theme, because I think a historian would look at it one way. I think you'd have someone illegal, like a lawful person, might look at it another way, and I think someone who's battling social injustice or perceived social injustice might give us another theme.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I come off extra harsh only because it's New York State and
Right.
everyone gets a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
I have victims that call us constantly, be like, "That guy you arrested yesterday is trying to break into my house again," kind of stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't. We come and stop him again, but
We slapped his wrist.
We slapped his wrist. Like it's not.
What's the problem? He's been slapped.
Yeah. He's using his other wrist.
He's got two.
We only had one slap hand. All right, here we go. I like this topic. Oh. No. There we go.
Almost struck out there. Like the Bugs Bunny. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Just creating a little drama, that's all. Russell Crowe's singing and the importance of medium.
Okay.
So I remember when this movie came out, all over social media, Facebook, YouTube videos, people just pooping all over Russell Crowe singing and just saying awful things about I won't repeat what they say, but overall just not appreciating what he brought to this cast and the whole presentation of the lyrics and everything. And I think I think this is going to be the third Mamma Mia reference in a matter of 3 episodes.
You're going to be like, he was so much better than Pierce Brosnan.
Well, Pierce Brosnan, they share like a similar thing here, where
Like it's supposed his
way they
range
sing
of singing is supposed to match his characters.
it matches the character.
Okay.
So in a musical, like a stage musical, yes, your singing is part of the staple of how you present your story. But in movies, it goes beyond that. There's, editing and close-ups and pacing and, everything's got to be
like there's a director's vision that has
there's
something
a
intentional
specific,
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So musicals, they have a certain way of doing it.
I just realized I missed 2 topics. like, what was I doing? I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, I missed the song. I missed the theme of Justice Lens. I'm like, okay, we're at Russell Crowe. I'm like, I didn't use my notes on 2 of these. Where was I?
To be fair, I'll do that sometimes where I'm like, darn, I wrote like 2 paragraphs on something. I didn't even bring it up.
I'm like, I got goodies on a song. I got goodies on historical context.
We'll add song to the end then.
Okay,
we'll circle back and
if you
give
can
us
let
our
me
favorite songs.
dig on my historical context of theme, that might be fun too.
Okay.
If it comes in. But Russell Crowe,
Bookmark it. Yeah.
Yeah. Russell Crowe and his singing.
I'm going to be sad if we don't get back to those. Well, it's believable,
I'm
right?
gonna add it to my notes.
It almost makes it more believable, the fact that he's not an ace singer.
Well, yeah. To me, though, it's his singing matches the rigidity of law.
Like he's not supposed to have all the
lines.
ranges.
There is no
and the
creative
notes
wiggle room.
You know what?
Yeah.
I love that.
This is the note. I'm singing the note. See, the note says it right here. This is how I'm going to sing.
It's a C, C,
Yeah.
C, C. C flat. C flat.
Excuse me, why are you singing like Morrissey? Anyway. Love the Smiths.
But that was my thought, is the way that he sings. There is no creative wiggle room. There is no thought as to how I can interpret this note. There's no like flow to it, and those may sound like digs to his singing, but it matches the whole theme and characterization, the symbol of what he is in the story.
Mm-hmm. I got a fun story to go along with that. I mess with musicals. And I usually like little church musicals, like church things. There was one at Niagara Frontier Bible, which is at the time was kind of a bigger church locally, and we did an Easter one. And I'm a fun hog, so let's try it. It'll be fun, right? So someone said, "You want to be in the musical?" I said, "Yes, of course I do." I didn't want to, but like everybody's doing it. And they're like, "You want to be a prisoner?" "Yeah, I'll be a prisoner." So you're in jail. You're in jail. And you're singing a song about, and there's this guy you're in jail with, and he gets out, and then you're curious about, you want to learn more about this guy, and the guy happens to be Jesus, and you're this big mean prisoner, and you're singing to the other inmates about what the heck, I don't understand it. Who is this guy? What kind of, he's a king? We shared a cell with a king, and you got to sing this song about it. I'm like, sounds good. And as I'm singing it, right, I got a limited range, but I'm fearless. I will try. And I remember the director saying, "Yeah, you're just singing it too. It's just too fun. It's just too. You sound like you're just too. You got to be you're a prisoner. You got to sound like this, and you can't hit this range, and you got to sound more like this." And I remember singing it again, and he goes, "It's even worse," because I was trying to sing it with like voice and diction and meaning. He goes, "You got to sound like you're," and he was pretty much Russell Crowe-ing me at the time. Yeah. He's like, "You got too much depth. You're this hardened prisoner. You're this. You have to have more. It's got to be more monotone. You have to." And I remember watching and recording it. Don Rickard, of all people, was there, and she had recorded it, and she showed it to me, and she goes, "You sing really well." I'm like, I failed. Because it was supposed to be more monotone and more gruffy, and the guy singing with me was supposed to sing with more emotion, because he actually believed this guy was the king. I was the skeptic, and I was supposed to just be very... And so it's funny you were talking about that. I'm thinking I've been in that position before on such a small level. But there are no small actors, no small roles, only small actors.
There you go.
And so I was trying to knock it out of the park, and Don's like, "You sang really well." I'm like, "Well, then I failed, didn't I?" Thanks a lot. Burn that recording.
You're probably supposed to start bad and then get better by the end,
that
right?
Was probably it. Because, and then we were kind of dancing and singing, and I'm thinking, man, I have no shame at all. And the makeup. Anyway, I totally went way off.
But yeah, the importance of medium, though, film versus musical versus book versus whatever, they all have to be given different parameters for how they tell a story.
What kind of king would walk among the commoners? What kind of king wore rags instead of crowns? What kind of king had army to defend him? No, anyway, I'm thinking less action, more
much.
monotone. I'm like, sorry.
What kind of king?
There you go.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's what I was looking for. But I'm singing,
I'm a worse
dancing
singer.
around and singing.
I pictured that too. I pictured the arm pumping as you're walking.
It was pumping, and they said, no pumping. And this poor young man was my co-prisoner, Ben Newman, the poor guy, and he was looking at me like, "No, too much, you're going to get yelled at." And sure enough, they stopped the music, and there it was. I was getting yelled at again. And I'm like having a great time anyway. It's just, what is wrong with this guy? That was for free, guys. Second verse later.
Tin Man, what were your thoughts on Russell Crowe singing?
Yeah, no, there had to be a reason, or I was like, why did they pick Russell Crowe if he's gonna? Mm-hmm. Because I remember being like, he's not moving the notes around. I was like, okay, this note should end like this, and it doesn't. Okay. I thought it didn't seem bad because he was a bad singer. It felt like it was intentionally off. Mm-hmm. Like intentionally, like the note should climb like this and then end here, and it didn't climb and ended there. I'm like, oh, okay. Like what? Like I was expecting
You bring us down a whole octave.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah. But you being like, no, that's like Pierce Brosnan's character. Like I'm like, oh yeah. It being intentional. Once again, I'd have to watch it again after this podcast and be like, let me see if I can appreciate this a little better this time. And
it should be pretty easy to rewatch it. I feel like Les Mis is a pretty rewatchable movie.
I feel like watching it
obviously.
Again. Yeah. Just Ron believable. Ron believable. Imperfect and masculine. You know, unpolished. Medium and the medium of music. Did we get to that part yet or no? Did I miss that one? Like the medium of music itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Medium music and medium of music, like instead of like the soliloquy, like I said on stage, medium of music carries the entire film, right? And to see the inner turmoil of the character perfectly. And so Russell Crowe's character being in this role, the same way that Anne Hathaway's character had to sing so beautifully and moving, and even Eddie Redmayne, that had to be that's one of my favorite songs from a musical, Empty Chairs and Empty Tables.
Oh yeah.
That song punches me in the gut every time because everybody can relate to that feeling of loss, right? Everybody can relate to what it's going to look like, what that holiday is going to look like moving forward now, and like even survivor's guilt, like.
Well, I think that song brought attention to the I guess the dark side of revolution and giving yourself up to a cause is now for the people that are left. What's left for them? Why did you make this revolution if all you're going to leave us with is empty chairs and empty tables?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why you got yourself killed for something if the people you left have nothing.
There's
Viva la France.
There's a very similar feeling in Hamilton. To connect for some of the musical folks listening, there's a very similar song like "Raise a Glass to Freedom." You know, raise a glass to the four of us. These four great friends that are about to embark on revolution. Raise a glass to the four of us. Tomorrow there'll be more of us. You know what I mean? They'll tell the stories of tonight. They'll tell the stories, and it's almost setting the stage. I got goosebumps, huge goosebumps. They'll tell the story of tonight. They'll remember us.
I was going to say the exact
yeah. They'll tell the story of tonight, and I thought about that as I was listening to Hamilton soundtrack for the first time, and then listening to this soundtrack again today, getting ready for the pod. I was like, when I heard that song, Empty Chairs, Empty Tables, man, I said, man, they borrow so much emotion from each other. I like the feel of revolution, like the theme of revolution. It's like. And even that picture of, yes, you're investing all of this, and the world will probably remember who you are, but not those closest to you. They'll feel the loss in this revolution, you know? And I just, man, it is an emotional song. That song is an emotional one right there. Mm-hmm. So I think like Russell Crowe, even his songs, they might not be sung with the most emotion, but you get what his character's trying to say and what he's all about.
Well, I like that they stick out. Again, I'm not saying it's bad singing; it's intentional. But when you have so the theme that I have, right, the compassion is like you need the compassion when you talk about justice. That's the core thing of it. If that's the theme, then you need everyone else to be able to sing with fluidity. Right, you need everyone else to have a sense of unity and singing together
to contrast
the opposing idea, right? Because if he sings great and the rest of the cast sings great, they're all unified at that point. I feel like
then you're taking a piece off the board when you could have used the difference in their singing as a possible tool or reference in the song to the character. If they're all singing good, then that's just a piece you can't use anymore because they're all uniform.
That's right.
Now. Yeah.
And I think it probably works on a few levels too, where you get music snobs or whatever that are saying, "Oh, that's terrible. I hate Russell Crowe this role." I mean, maybe that part was also done intentionally, where it was, how can we get people to dislike Javert? because
How can we dislike him more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll hit.
Maybe they didn't dislike him enough, and they're like, no, we need to dislike him more.
We're gonna hit the musicians right where
Yeah.
they feel it.
Right where they feel.
All right. Anything more on Russell Crowe singing?
I got nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a clean one.
So, got it.
It may take an hour, but I'll get that.
There you go. Sniper over here. One shot, one kill.
I mean, I
I
probably
do miss
fired
playing that
about
game.
12 shots though. So
12 shots, 5 kills. Whatever. Let me see.
how do you guys think the movie portrays justice?
Javert is a fine lawman and craves justice, right? He's guilty of wanting to be great at his job and knowing what his job entails.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his the plot line of his character, it's not like he's a terrible guy.
No,
He's a career man. I mean,
And it's
what do you want
not
from
that.
him?
Yeah, and it's not that he's indifferent to the like it's not a it's like the double-sided blade. It's he's willing to put himself for breaking the law. Like he's like, nope, I messed up. You know, I'm willing to take the punishment that I deserve for the
Yes.
same thing. So he holds himself across the board.
that was
by that.
that was something K-Max brought up last episode. Was this idea of, I mean, criminals in that context, but it was if you're gonna play by these I don't know, I can't remember how you worded it, but it was if you play by your own rules, you have to be able to accept those rules, like playing you, basically, you know?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Javert did.
Yeah.
but honest to goodness, there's a spoiler alert, a little Andor reference, if I might. There's a character named Cyril in Andor that I still feel for, because the only thing he's guilty of the entire series is being passionate about doing his job and doing it well, and being passionate to a cause he believes in, because he was raised thinking this is the right way to do things. And so those of you who listening who have watched Andor, you know, and those that will be watching it, relate Cyril's character to this man again, Javert, because I felt for him. Weirdly enough, I felt for his character, because I'm like, yeah, I know where we're supposed to feel, and I know history and about the revolution and stuff,
Right.
and I get what his character represents, but I'm like, it's like Sympathy for the Devil, a little Rolling Stones song, you know. This is how he's wired. This is, and I feel like, what is he guilty of right here? Yeah, he does some things that go above and beyond. Yeah, he actually, that overzealous lawman, maybe, right?
Well, like I try to relate it, you know, to our things here. So, I mean, easiest is Tin Man over here, but if you come across someone that needs some assistance that would require you to disobey what you're sworn to do, would you be able to risk it all? You know what I mean? Like, would you put your career on line? Would you throw your career out of the window to support another cause? Maybe it's right,
Oh, it's totally possible.
I see that too.
but it's
Oh yeah,
but
it's not an easy decision.
Oh, it depends on what that cause is. If it's something like, I don't know. I can think of 1,000 different situations. A buddy needs something, but it's going to be like, I don't want to use real examples.
yeah, right. No, I know what you mean.
I'm like, there's been situations where like I could look the other way, but doing so could get me in trouble. So there's a way to handle it, but not drop the hammer.
That's right.
So police are given what's called discretion, like a lot of discretionary rights. But there are things that policy-wise
others
is hard
may
in
call
stone.
it compassion.
I could agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
For a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
Chunk of it. There's a way that you could like tell me more. There's people that when I first met them, hated their guts and they hated me. where I had a gun in their face. We had pulled drugs off him. If I saw him on the street, I knew he had warrants and we were going to fight if we saw each other. If I saw him when I was with my family, like I'd have to go and hide them out of the way because I knew something. The more and more I got to know this person, the more and more I just felt bad for them. The more and more like softer I got towards them eventually. Like if I see him now, I can like dap him up. I'm like, I'm not going to check for warrants, bro, but you probably have them. Like, but that came with time and understanding. The more info I had on them, like, dude, you had such a rough childhood. The fact that you're not dead now is amazing.
Time and understanding, I think, are important here because you take historical context and not just in this French Revolution, but just in general, the idea of law. I think was pretty strict, and we're at a point now where there's a lot of interpretation, a lot of discretion, a lot of being able to say, in a court of law, at least in the U.S., certain things can be, I don't want to say twisted because I think that might be a little negative, but things can be interpreted in certain ways that would allow for compassion or allow for things. There's a lot of examples, but if I think there's one example where there's a father that waits outside the courtroom for the guy that abused his son.
There's one where he waits outside the airport, and they're bringing the marshal. I think it's marshals. They're bringing him in from the airport because that's always on Father's Day. You always see like a picture of him because he's at a phone bank.
Yes,
turns and shoots the guy.
Yeah, yeah. So like things like that where. As history kind of rolls on, I think there's more ability to add context to.
Well, that's what happened in court for that guy. He got premeditated murder. He drove around the airport with the gun in his on the seat next to him, waiting for a chance to kill this guy. And when after doing so, the courts couldn't charge him with this because they knew everybody would make him not guilty. He ended up doing like a couple months and in probation for years for murder. And only because of the context involved. The jury wouldn't convict him on it. Gotcha. So they were like, the jury was never going to convict this guy at this level. 20 years for this situation? So they were like, they end up having to bring it down so low.
So I think that's important because when you look back at this story that was written in the 1800s, right? Yep. Where law, I mean, you see a few examples in here, not just Javert, but the soldiers in the street saying like, don't throw your lives away. Like this is our orders. We're going to shoot. So give up now or you're going to die. And it doesn't matter what their personal thoughts were. That's our orders. That's the law. That's what we're here for. We're like, soldiers.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
Yep, I don't care.
From The Fugitive. Yep. I thought about that as you were talking. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I probably like you. If he could sing right there, he would probably sing, "We could have been friends. We might have golfed." You know what I mean? But that's film. He didn't have the chance to do the musical there. But you know what? I thought about what you said with, like, again, I'm not a law officer, but that idea, that question I like that you posed of, you know what the law says. What would you do if there was a moral cause, like a moral justice, that would force you to break that law, kind of? I think about that like in the classroom. I often say, well, if I get fired over praying for a kid, then that's something I don't mind being fired for. So it's like separation of church and state, things like that. And I think if I have to get ever fired from my job, acting out of compassion for a kid in a genuine altruistic way for their best interest, I look myself in the mirror. All right, that's okay, because I think like morally, the kid is at that point and needs someone to rally around them and say, okay, I know that bowing in prayer right here in a public school probably isn't, great for, separation of church and state in a public school, but I've done it, and I thought, someone walks in and sees that I'm praying for this kiddo, and they've asked me to, and I have. I respect the law, though. If someone came there, I would not fight my principal or my superintendent if it came to it. And if someone was offended, I'm like, they are within their rights, but I made a choice there. I made a decision, and this kiddo needed that, and it was totally altruistic. It was totally, I love this kid, and I want good for them, and they asked for this, and I think that they desperately needed this prayer. They desperately needed this, someone to come alongside them and say, I love you, and here's something that I think is going to. I feel like it's not I'm not a lawman, but it's like I feel like you're put in that position, and you're like, there are things that you'd be like, yep, I got to do. And probably in healthcare, I wonder if there's things that you would.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. Like in healthcare, that's going from our two trades. In healthcare, there's probably doctors and nurses that walk that line all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, examples on a weekly basis, a daily basis of things that are unjust because of entities that are not involved in the actual health. From insurance to law to whatever else that get in the way of what is good, what is healthy, what is correct for an individual or the collective.
Yeah, huge.
But what I noticed, though, in justice for Les Misérables was there's a lot of man-made things, and I think subtly to a point, that lawful justice is man-made. Javert, you notice throughout the movie he climbs ranks as he goes on. So he's got that blue basic outfit in the port.
Like he's a prison guard in the port.
And then he's serving Valjean as the mayor, and his hat goes sideways, right?
Yep.
And then as they flash forward again, his hat is turned so it's forward, right?
Yeah.
So he's climbing these man-made ranks while you see Valjean grow from a moral standpoint, where now he's got Cosette, now he's got home, now he's got this, and you see him growing in more meaningful ways. So like they're superficial ways that this symbol for rigid law, like the superficialness of it matches what he represents. Like follow law, follow man, follow king. Like these are all boom, boom, boom. And lawful justice cannot comprehend the moral fairness that we see, and obviously you see that with the suicide.
Oh yeah, so much historical context in that little statement there. Of before French Revolution is kind of this linchpin in history. It's not the only one, obviously, but it is a huge one because you're taught Middle Ages and Dark Ages, 1500s, all the way up to maybe even the 1600s, maybe even. All right, but then you have the Enlightenment and the Scientific Revolution, Renaissance, things like that, and these thinkers come to this idea of natural rights of man. You actually you're born with these natural rights, man, and these ideas start spreading, around the known world at the time, right? They start spreading, and pretty soon people say, "You mean there's authority outside of the absolute monarch and the Catholic Church? You mean I have rights? I can challenge authority? I can actually challenge the laws that govern the universe if I believe scientifically. I can use reason and logic and have an opinion on my own." Les Mis kind of captures Valjean kind of is like this voice for, I'm using reason here and morality. I'm discovering morality, and it's almost like Javert's character is just, nope, there's absolute truth. It's like that, and then so like Thomas Hobbes, like this Thomas Hobbes. To think about Enlightenment thinkers, it's like you have this whole idea of man is evil and needs strong government, and I am the arm of the strong government. I got to keep you in line because you are evil. You are bent to do evil and wrong, and without this, we crumble into lawlessness. And so that I even feel more compassion for him because I'm like, he's standing at the gate. He's standing in the gap, holding society together in his mind.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Valjean is this idea of saying, no, there's right and wrong beyond law. There's a moral rightness, and
There's
and,
your
and he fights
there's
for
your
it.
theme right
There
there.
it is. Hey. And then it's done.
Tin Man, any more on Justice before we move into...
No, go ahead. You can
Okay.
go on to the next one.
Tin Man, let me hear you give you a little ding there.
Let's hear the ding.
Oh, so you've been having the wrong guy dinging.
Man, oh man.
If I'm not mistaken, this is made of tin.
Titanium. Thank you.
Aluminium.
That was so clean. It was so darn clean.
How does this movie portray fairness?
It doesn't. No. Let's see. How does it portray fairness? Fairness. I don't know. It kind of doesn't. Characters who I don't know portray fairness.
KMX, help the man or I'm going to unload.
How would it portray fairness? It's like it's not fair to Fantine. It's not fair to, I guess, the priest. No, I don't even want to say that. It's not fair to Javert. I guess it's like the choices he makes are his own, but what led to his understanding that this law is his world. It's simple. Mm-hmm. The world makes sense because if I follow this is what's right. This is what's wrong.
Yeah.
And then the one time he messes up that he could have to pay for, he gets forgiven and doesn't understand it, and his death results because of it. Like, I don't know what fairness. I don't know how I would describe fairness.
I love the shot. I love the shot.
I'm taking I'm taking all the avenues, trying to find.
I got to be honest with you. That helps though. That helps kind of piece it together for me though.
Brainstorming.
Like the idea of fairness is like you almost have two distinct kinds of fairness. You have the lawful fairness, like what is fair under the law, fair and just due process. He even broke that a little bit. Mm-hmm. He even broke that. He broke that too, because then you saw that in his overzealousness, he didn't follow due process of the law, right. Even though his character is supposed to represent the law. So he didn't exact fairness. And in the movie shows right from the beginning, there's nothing fair about this guy doing this many years for stealing bread.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fairness would say, of course, get at your bread for your starving sister and family.
I wonder if fairness
would be something
it feels
simple too, like pay it back.
Fairness feels like it's so lacking that grace needs to fill the gap.
Yes.
Or there needs to be an answer for it. So like fairness is like so far in the distance that hope is so minuscule that there needs to be something to bridge that gap.
That's the battle evermore in my estimation is. It's like saying, "Give me what I deserve."
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, well, you really want what you deserve? well, I think it'd be fair if I got what I deserve. You want fairness?
Yeah.
And that's always something risky. This movie to me presented it like it was more of a society view on fairness. It was like, of course it's not fair, and this is why the revolution had to happen. Yeah. And so we had to paint all this unfairness, and we had to show Hugh Jackman's character go through all of this, receive this grace, and then his whole life, his whole rest of his free life was him delving out the grace to others.
Right. Like he knew that he was in debt for what he was given. And so he has to try to give it back.
And so then it shows Lavert's character not exacting fairness, and so then he can't receive it then back. Right. He can't receive that grace back. And so I don't know if I've answered the question. I probably haven't. But I just
we're looking at fairness in the movie. No,
it's super interesting though.
K-Max asked me how I think it portrays.
Hey,
fairness.
By the way, How do you think this movie portrays fairness?
Divinely.
And it's funny, we were dancing around it, though, Tim.
We were shooting at different targets, so we almost got it.
When we talk about divinely, yes, because we did say grace all over the place.
Yeah.
So, though there's no specific reference to God's presence in the movie, you have characters that who believe. There's the clergy. There's
Fontaine mentions it a little bit.
Well, there's to the afterlife.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
specific reference.
Yeah.
Like you have Fontaine. You have the end where he gets up. He's walking towards the camera. His body is also in the chair, still dead.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, he's walking like to the camera. You look, that's him dying in the afterlife. And then obviously the last reprisal of the song, all the people that died are up singing on the barricade. But through grace, that's when you see characters learn and live and breed fairness. And yes,
so
breed
good.
fairness. Because it starts off with the clergyman who passes it to Valjean, who passes it to Fontaine and Marius and Cosette, who then return it back to Valjean towards the end there. So you have all that improving, and again, compared to the beginning where it was just punishment that had no effect on Valjean learning anything about anything. So I have a quote here, and it was when he's the mayor. They think that man is me without a second glance. Glance. That's how he sang it anyway. Glance. This stranger they have found, this man could be my chance. Why should I save his hide? Why should I right this wrong when I have come so far and struggled for so long? If I speak, I am condemned. If I stay silent, I am damned.
Yep.
So, in these lyrics, he's contemplating what's the higher infraction, what is morally right. So, is it more wrong for me
to let this guy
to let
take
this
his
innocent
punishment?
guy maybe even die? Who knows what the punishment is?
Right.
Let him die, or do I come forward and say, no, that's me. I'm Jean Valjean. And do you know when he makes this decision?
Ask the question again, would you?
When he gives that quote and he's contemplating, if I speak, I am condemned, as in
I remember this song very distinctly.
Yeah, if I speak, I am condemned, meaning if I break the
he
law.
just shows up into the court and just like, I'm John Valjean, and takes off right away.
Like the idea of like revealing his identity was like that crux. It was like that apex moment, I thought, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to get specific.
Okay.
So like
and
what
then-
happened around his character at that time when he makes that decision?
So if I stay silent, I am damned. That's more of from his spiritual side,
Like
right?
a morality side,
Yes.
right? Like,
So which infraction is worse here? And when he makes his decision, he is bowing at a cross.
Oh.
And that's when he makes the decision to come clean. So he chooses fairness,
yep.
and it comes from a divine influence. So that's why I said fairness is presented divinely.
Oh, nice.
And
I'm gonna have to
so
look back and watch
complexly
it.
and
And he-
so
Yes,
complicated.
And he continues after he stands up, after bowing at the cross there. He says, "My soul belongs to God. I know I made that bargain long ago. He gave me hope when hope was gone. He gave me strength to journey on. Who am I? I'm Jean
Jean
Valjean."
Valjean. That's right. I remember that. Yeah. No, that's good. That one rhymed. That's why I remember that one.
Note to future musical producers.
So I wrote these notes, and I mean, a lot of them are quotes,
Yeah.
so that I can remember them verbatim, but they've gotten so long that I just refer to them as JVJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he learns this compassion, he learns this fairness, and he's able to spread it to the characters around him. And there's a point there. Again, I think it's in the beginning after the clergyman gives him the silver. He says, "I am reaching, but I fall." The reprisal of that song is altered slightly for when Javert faces a similar test, right? So his lyrics are, "I am reaching, but I fall, and the stars are black and cold, as I stare into the void of a world that cannot hold. I'll escape now from that world, from the world of JVJ. There's nowhere I can turn. There's no way to go on." So you compare that to how Jean Valjean was tested. "I am reaching, but I fall, and the night is closing in. As I stare into the void, to the whirlpool of my sin, I'll escape now from that world, from the world of Jean Valjean. Jean Valjean means nothing now. Another story must begin." So you can see, even at this point, that when tested with what they represent, one folds and can't handle the morality.
Yes.
And one thrives from it.
Yeah. I got something to add, but when you're done, I think I do. I want to try to hold on. I'm going to try to type it in here if I can remember it.
So, Javert says, "I am the law, and the law is not mocked." So, kind of like this, like he, when I said that he's a symbol, he says it verbatim. "I am the law."
Yeah. You think he is Judge Dredd?
And I think the sources of these two songs are telling as well. The song "Stars" that Russell Crowe sings. One of my favorites in the movie, by the way. But when you compare the sources of what they're singing to, so those specific lyrics, he's singing to the stars, and Valjean is referencing a spirit that comes to move his life. So he's referencing a divine, like a spiritual motivation to change his life, and Javert is referencing stars in the sky. So very different sources. One comes from a divine notion, and one is just kind of he kind of just sees them like they're just facts of life. Stars are there, right? And so when they turn off on him, when he can't see the stars, there's hollowness, right, of what he believes in. With Valjean, it only gets more full, right? As he's getting close, he's living in at the convent, and he's being visited by family and Fantine and the priest that had saved him in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So one person's life gets more full, and the other person's life gets more empty. So I mean, yeah. So very, like I said, very lopsided to me anyway. Very lopsided view on what justice is and what's more important with fairness versus punishment. Okay, Max, you said you had...
I got something cool, but I'm going to need your help on this.
Okay.
Here's what I need from you, because it's going to set this up, and I got it written down so that I can try to remember, because my brain's not great. Would you help me out and read the quote that you asked Tin Man to reflect on, the quote from Hateful Eight on justice? If you'd be so kind to read that for me. I would like to add something from Les Mis that might, again, that may or may not fly in the face of that. It certainly doesn't support that.
You ready for me?
I am ready for you.
The man who pulls the lever that breaks your neck will be a dispassionate man. And that dispassion is the very essence of justice. For justice, delivered without dispassion, is always in danger of not being justice.
Okay. So that's pretty much saying, that justice has to be pretty much blind, and it has to be without emotion. I contest that Les Mis says specifically, through all their messaging and through Javert's undoing, pretty much says, not so fast. As Lee Corso would say on College Game Day, not so fast. So you have Valjean's journey of mercy and redemption. He embraces the mercy, right, and the grace. Whereas Javert has his commitment and unwavering belief to strict legalism, like very strict. Javert can't conceive Valjean's true transformation. He just refuses to. He can't reconcile that with his own past. It shows exactly the limitations of a justice system that doesn't have compassion. So it pretty much flies in the face of the quote from the Hateful Eight, saying if you want to have legal justice with moral justice, if you want them to join hands, then your legal system cannot rule out compassion at the end of the day.
So you found you uncovered my hidden talking point I was going to bring up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we'll do
you
it
have
now.
found the saltine from Scrubs.
Yeah.
My friend, you saw as soon as you looked up. My friend, you have found the saltine.
So I'll bring it up now then before we move into the scene perception. Can you have justice without passion?
Can you have justice without passion?
Yeah. So that would be the opposite of that quote. So the quote says you need dispassion for proper justice.
I mean, the executioner is the dispassionate one, right? The one who pulls the lever. I mean, I'm
they
digging
said-
deeper into the.
Well, he said dispassion is the essence of justice.
Dispassion is the essence of justice.
See, this is the same point in Javert's train of thought where he jumped off.
Say the question one more time. I'm sorry.
See, it's the quote.
So it's referencing the quote from Hateful Eight. But
Yeah,
can you have justice without passion?
without passion.
Oh, it's a Hateful Eight quote.
So
That's the one I forgot to watch
reversed it.
again. That's the one I showed up with Yeah, I watched it a couple years ago.
And to be fair, with Tarantino, I think he was actually challenging that quote himself in The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, right. That's true.
So like he's setting it up, but it was meant to be addressed through what happens in his movie. So he's kind of contending the opposite. That
Right. So justice and punishment aren't synonymous, right? So justice has a more complete, a more truer, a more
well, that's why I had you
precise.
go through what it
Right.
means to you.
Yeah. I feel like as much as I'm a touchy-feely guy and as much as I want there to always be wiggle room for grace and
Mercy.
if I
Right.
want justice to be impartial, truly impartial, if we have a set of rules, whether it's the Justinian Code, the Napoleonic Code, or New York State law, the only hope that I can have for fundamental fairness is for it to be. This is a very un-Christopher thing to say. I need it to be as, I don't want to say heartless, but devoid of passion
Oh wow.
as possible. If I want that, because it's something that caters to a certain a prettier group or a darker or lighter group than me. If there's anything grace given to, or they're poor, they deserve a little bit more,
or some political stance,
honest
or
to goodness,
whatever, right?
Well,
right,
honest
right,
to goodness, if I want to have any chance for blind justice, then it almost has to be. And yet I don't practice that myself.
Because it's not for you to practice.
It's not for me to practice.
No, that's the law's job.
Yeah.
The law is supposed to do that. We, in ourselves, in our individuality, are allotted to give grace and mercy and understanding. The law does its own thing. That's why there's that buffer between everyone and the law itself.
Yeah.
I think this is where, because we came into this dynamic last episode where there's sides of justice that came up, and we were, I guess, on opposite sides of it. But for me, justice is encompassing, so it's not just the law. So it includes that compassion. It includes how you're talking. If you pull someone over, like, sorry, my wife is giving birth, I'm on the way to the hospital.
I feel bad for you. Here's your ticket.
Yeah.
No.
I have to suspend
Congratulations
your
on your son. Here's your ticket.
and, I have to suspend your license. I have to impound the car, and you have to take a night at the jail. Sorry, that's the law. So to me, it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
So I need that passion. I need some empathy.
But that's the thing, though.
I need
the
emotion
law,
involved,
The law can't,
but not in a negative way.
Right. The law doesn't change, but that buffer allows for the change.
I'm saying justice, though. I'm not saying
That's
the
true.
law. That's why
true.
I said it's fully
That's why.
encompassing.
That's right. I
gotcha.
agreed. I differentiated between justice and law, because law, I agree, blind,
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
The difference between what's justice is it's more complete and whole and has all the angles.
Yes.
And how? Yeah, it's why I phrased
As-
it. Can
as-
you have justice without passion?
I gotcha. Yeah, seriously. But I still feel like that fundamental fairness. But again, I'm a big proponent of what's fair for you isn't fair for me.
Right.
And what's fair for you isn't fair for me. Fairness might mean something differently for all of us. So yeah, I believe that. I guess I'm lost. It's all over the place.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
The beautiful
I'm not
part of all of
disagreeing
it,
with you.
though, is that it's a cool discussion to have. And I think that discussions like this might lend people the ability to open up and say, I didn't realize I felt that. Or, you know what you're saying actually does make some sense. Or maybe an argument that someone made on TV that I at first said, what the heck's your problem? Well, come on, get over it or whatever. Maybe I'm like, whoa, I would never say to like you know what I mean, someone that's being oppressed, get over it. You know what I mean? And yet I'm like, if this is fair for me, I'm like, well, here's how I did it. I hear that a lot, right? Well, here's what I've done. You got to do that. I'm like, I don't know what hand they've been dealt. You know what's just in that case. And yeah.
Tin Man, this is the example I gave. If my daughter gets a piece of candy and she takes the last one, and my son comes up and he says, "Can I have a piece of candy?" I'm going to try and find him a piece of candy. I'm not going to take away my daughter's piece of candy so that they're fair and they both have no candies. So like my outlook on fairness and justice is a little bit more coming from a different aspect of, because we talked about fairness, and what we end up focusing on was, well, it's only fair that you live by the sword, die by the sword type of thing. And then my thought on fairness was from a different point of view than not focusing on punishment per se or focused on the wrongdoer, more focused on the innocent and the not victim, but the opposite of the wrongdoer.
Like the aggrieved,
right doer.
like the aggrieved,
Yeah.
maybe. Or, yeah.
So I think that's, and I told him, I think fundamentally is different ways of thinking about it. So no matter how you bring in examples and your train of thought, it's on separate tracks. And I think it's pretty interesting one, because
But that's the thing, though, is like your role as dad is going to be different than their role as teacher, their role as friend, or their role as a stranger. Like, if the store owner says, well, you don't have the money for both of them, I'm going to take, you can't buy both candies, you know? The store owner has every right to be like, I can't sell you 2 candies, I can only sell you 1. So each person's understanding of fairness is like, well, what's my relationship to this person, relationship to this person, relationship to this person? I don't know.
That's what makes it so hard, though, to divvy justice.
Right.
Because it's like you have a world of billions of people, right? I think, or millions at least, people. That's like, And this is where I went in with Vaz last week saying, I got grievances. I got a lot of problem with you people. That was like, I was talking about like scoring the Regents exams.
Yeah.
And there's people that have problems with kids getting accommodations. So I'm like, well, the system that's in place for making sure that this test is as appropriate and is fair for this kid that has a reading disability provides some accommodation for this test to be read. Another kid would sit there saying, well, he got a 95 because he had the whole thing read to him. That's not fair. Well, you didn't need that. You don't have that disability, right? And I was kind of going off a little bit because it was very fresh. It was very fresh. And it's almost like, yeah, this is a tough one, Vaz. I hate it. Because, like, there's fairness and justice require so much, like, individual look at it, like a case-by-case basis. Yeah. But then when you look at things from a case-by-case basis, there's always going to be someone that kind of gets screwed.
But that's the thing, though, is you're looking at case-by-case basis by one event. Look at that next year with a million of events, and then the next year with the million of events. I feel like the world balances itself out over the length of your life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, but it makes you get almost existential with the whole thing.
Because you could go, oh, well, this kid needed it read to him. I go, well, yeah, if it was fair, everyone would have a portion read to them, but how much portion depends on their ability to understand and interpret
how much
it.
Of it. That's exactly
and
true.
now I got a million different levels of accommodations for each kid.
It's hilarious that you bring that up because that is something every year that you're faced with as a team. Because and again, I'm getting on education. Each IEP has it specifically out, and it says, here's how you give it, and here's to what level you give it, and here's when you can give it, and here's the criteria that you can give that. And each one's written differently. If it's done right, it's done differently. Then you get a principal and team that's like, well, we need 70 proctors in 80 rooms, and we only have 5 people.
It sounds like you guys are pretty passionate about this. So, like, my one of the things I kept thinking about was, like, the phrase "justice is blind," right? Mm-hmm. But to me, like, you have to be able to see the context of things for justice to be just, right?
Well, that's what, like, thought. God being identified as true justice. Mm-hmm. He in himself is truly just.
Yes.
And why is that? Because he understands every aspect, all angles, the inner person,
that's right.
Everything behind it.
You could say that's why man can't get it right.
Yeah,
that's right. It's why our again, if I get theological for a second, it's why my brain can't comprehend it and wrap my head around it, and that's why there's a need for justice beyond what I can see. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And even if there is an imbalance in this life, the next life will balance it out there. You know, like, so that's why I like it. If it's a humans aspect, it's like, yeah, it's black and white law. Here's the law. And the only thing that keeps you from it are the cops, the actors, whoever's involved to buffer that as grace, as passion, as other characters that have to keep you from when the cold law comes into place. But
Vaz, you've done it again.
But here it is.
Oh, no, Tin Man.
Oh.
Hit it.
Yeah, you got this.
It wasn't bad. I even miffed it a little. It wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
The scene perception we are going to do
I'm terrified.
is when Valjean emerges from the sewer.
Oh, okay.
With Marius on his back. And Javert is at the top of the stairs waiting for him.
All right. So he sees him at the stairs. He identifies himself like he knows it's Jean Valjean.
Right?
He says, like, if you take one more, because he's take one more step, I'm going to shoot you, and you're going to die, and he continues regardless, and he doesn't get shot.
So what do you think that scene? What does it mean to the message? What does it mean to you?
So Javert is come to a crux where he's faced with his decision. Knowing that he was forgiven, knowing that the law could require him to kill him, and he can't make that decision. He can't do what he's been understanding, what he's been his life
His
revolves
purpose.
around this.
Yeah.
Is to complete his task, is to execute this running prisoner, who deserves to die. And he can't do it because of the forgiveness that was given to him. And he can't understand it or comprehend it. What is my perception of the scene? I don't know. I just said it. I just talked the most. Your turn.
No, honest to goodness, I couldn't agree more with 100% what you said. That it's a precipice moment in the film and in the musical and in the book. It is that moment of realization that here it is. It's my chance. The culmination of all my worldly efforts have come to this. And my ideals, the things that made me, my advancement, my hats, all that.
Yeah, because
This is my
he's
moment.
in his highest ranking he reaches in the movie.
I am at my apex
and
moment.
he's covered in,
Yep.
forgive my language,
Yep.
he's covered in shit. Carrying a supposed dead body out of the sewers. There's, it's covered his whole face. His whole face is even covered. You can't even see him. You just like his eyes in his mouth that are not covered in mud. Or
Just feel like it's the apex moment, and it's like I have to decide this, or anything else besides this is a life. It didn't. All the things that I've done mattered nothing,
yeah.
and the fact that he couldn't do what he had to do was almost like a point of no return for him. To me,
Yeah.
it was like a perfect scene to show. All right, now's your chance. You got him. This is, Tommy Lee Jones pull the trigger on the fugitive. You got him. You got
it's
him
like
here. And
everything that he stood for is. It's not that it's a lie, but it's not all that there is, and he can't interpret other things in this world. That's a perfect worldview for him to understand. The law makes sense to him, and this does not make any sense to him.
I feel like it's a really well done scene that a lot of scenes maybe steal from in movies and in series, and they don't even I don't think they're trying to steal from that particular one. Maybe this was borrowed from something before, but it is a very, very cool that moment that the audience looks and can relate. Puts the audience in that position where you feel the weight of that for the first time. We feel the weight of what he's been carrying and what he can't do.
Well, I think it's the compassion is contagious here, because, like it or not, we see Javert have an act of compassion. He doesn't shoot Valjean. He doesn't take him in. He's got no intention of chasing him down after that. Kind of like a funny thought was like, he's like, this is compassion, huh? I don't like it.
Well, there it is. It's like, I don't like it so much I can't live with it.
Yeah.
He couldn't live with himself.
So
right?
I had a connecting moment this time because, again, I'm looking at it through a different lens. But there's to steal a musical term, reprise.
Oh, beauty.
Right? In the beginning, look down, right? The song. So the beginning, you had Javert at the top of these stairs in the port, kind of overwatching the people below him, kind of an authoritative position, right? And he comes down to their level to do the commanding, right? And the song, look down, you're standing in your grave, right? Mm-hmm. Now you flip it to this scene. He's at the top of the stairs, Valjean's down below, and you have a power switch here where Valjean is climbing the stairs, to do the commanding, right? And then you even have the reprisal of the song, like "Look Down, He's Standing in His Grave."
Oh man!
So
So
it would make more sense for him to fall
to the front
to die than it would be for him to
start.
shoot himself to die.
Well, there you go. But if he were to follow law, Marius would die, and if he gives compassion, Marius lives. And like I said, like it or not, our staunch defender of the law has an act of compassion and has a hand in Marius living happily ever after with Cosette because he didn't follow through with the law.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was my shortened version of
And-
my interpretation, my perception of that scene.
I think that's such a cool scene because it sets the table for Javert's ultimate end. Like, it's almost like it's as if the Grinch, right? It's like as if let's put another chapter on the Grinch who stole Christmas, right? He does all these things. He gives the gifts back. He goes back and dives into the abyss because he just can't handle it. He's like, I lived my whole life this way, carrying this psychic wound. And
I feel like if his heart grew
and then
5
one-
sizes too big and a heart
and
attack.
one Christmas morning, I threw it all away. And he goes back to his cave and he's like, looks in the mirror and says, "You big fake." Jumps. That's what I felt like about
Goes
that.
in that Whoville shoot.
Yeah. Beautiful movie though.
Yeah.
Honestly, beautiful movie.
One of my favorites.
I'd watch it again.
I think I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I like seeing it from this side. Like, you know, this is my first time watching it, so I'm getting... Really, the singing? Like,
Well,
you
yeah,
have to sing every line in this movie?
This one is tough because like you're following the melody and you kind of get distracted by how certain notes don't pay off how you're expecting. But now you also have to keep track of what they're actually saying because it holds a lot of weight in the lyrics.
It was interesting pro tip for any musical if you guys go to Shays or anything like that for the musicals, right? Find the soundtrack and study it before you go. That is essential to Hamilton. That is essential to so many, especially with the rapping in Hamilton. Otherwise, you get lost and you get distracted with like when you're familiar with it because that's the dialogue. You're stuck with it in the musical. That is the dialogue, and I know the first time I watched Hamilton was live on the movie. I told you guys. But, like, I didn't know the lyrics, and so I found myself distracted all the time because I wanted to go back and listen to them again and see. But then having listened to the soundtrack and it being one of my favorite things to listen to, I know the lyrics, so I know what they're saying as they're performing. I just watch the performance now and watch the scenery and watch the movie unfold or the musical unfold. That's huge. Seeing Les Mis live, if it was your first exposure to the story was watching the musical itself rather than the movie helps you a little bit too, right? Because it can show a lot more rather than just like a rotated scenery or something.
Right.
But man, oh man, as I say, like pro tip is like you can be familiar with the lyrics before you go to watch it on stage. Always do so. I was told that by theater folks, and I'm like, yeah, that's you, that's not me. And then I left saying that kind of sucked. And they're like, well, did you do your homework? No. No, I didn't. And since then I did. I've always done it now.
So that was our episode on Les Mis. Next episode we get down and dirty with vengeance.
Now we're talking.
Wait, that's the
dirty
movie? Or that's
cousin of justice.
That's the movie or that's the topic?
That's the topic is justice.
No, I mean vengeance.
Vengeance, I mean, yes.
Now, vengeance is where...
Do we have a movie or are we just going over the topic?
We do have a movie. I won't reveal
This
it
is where
yet.
I finally get my yummy payoff. Vengeance.
That's all you could talk about last episode.
Honestly,
vengeance too.
I kid you not. Tin, I represented well. When you hear it, you're going to be like, there's my guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone's
we
representing
finally
for me
got
right
us.
there.
Let the hate
Yeah.
through you.
It was like this. Kill me. Do it. Strike me dead.
All right. Any last thoughts on Les Mis before I hit this little red button?
Loved it. Can't wait to hear some reflection from folks on
Yeah.
it. Want to get people back going again. Let's real quick commercial again, guys. Don't forget to follow us. You can find the podcast. Obviously, you're listening to it. You found it somewhere. But tell your friends they can find it on Apple Podcasts now, Spotify, Odyssey, and the Audible app, and others. Wherever you find your podcast. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Depth Perception Movie Podcast. Make sure all of those, not just Depth Perception, not just movie, not just podcast. And, by the way, it's a copycat league, and I'm seeing folks diving into the movie podcast idea and throwing things out there. We never pretend to have all the answers. We are three dudes talking about movies and the way they influence us and our own perspective and perception of them. And I think that might be refreshing. To me, it is. I've done some listening, and, it's cool to hear folks who get it and know it. It's also cool to hear folks that are just kind of talking about it, saying, I don't know, this is what I think about it. And I guess I'm thankful for you guys for that, because I wouldn't sit at a table if we were three know-it-alls. and I hope you folks at home get that there's a humbleness to it that we approach it with, because we know what we don't know.
We are authorities of nothing.
Yes, and we hope that. I listened to a couple guys in the barber shop today, and in the last couple of days, it's kind of cool to hear that's what they've been drawn to about this particular forum, is that they feel like they're either just sitting at the table in a non-threatening way in a conversation, even when we do get passionate about something, and we do. And I said that, I'm like, you can feel it. He goes, oh gosh, every week. I'm like, yay, that's nice too. But that they feel like they can sit at the table and they want to join the next conversation. I'm like, that's cool. One more quote from the listener. I can share this because maybe you guys can share with us more. The fact that they know that there's things that we disagree really, really strongly about, that they know the three of us do, and that we handle it with respect and we handle it with respect and with grace toward each other. It was cool because someone who you wouldn't expect to say that was like, yeah, it's kind of cool how you guys can disagree without being nasty to each other. I'm like, well, we're friends. That helps a lot. And I said, but honestly, there are things that are very close to our hearts that Vaz finds a way to get us to those lines. And I'm like, I don't want to. But it's almost like a nice thing. If it can be used to move the needle to the good a little bit and help people engage and maybe lean into conflict respectfully, man, we're doing some good stuff there.
Awesome.
Awesome indeed. Tin Man, you got to match that.
All right, ready? Oh, nailed it.
That was clean.